Welcome everyone to Ninja Monkey. Today, as always, I'll be answering your Japan troubles, your Japan travel questions, and I have a special guest today to help me out because it's just been a little bit of one of those weekends where everything seems to be going wrong, and I thought that I could use another Japan enthusiast with lots of knowledge to sort of make sure that everything is okay. Let me just check if the stream is live, and I think we are live. Awesome, we are live. Pretty cool. And yeah, so presenting. Dun dun dun.
It's me again. Way.
We have
Hey, everybody.
Japan with us, and this is really strange. And yeah, so we're here answering your questions and just seeing what's up, seeing what you guys want to ask. And by the way, we are trialing a slightly different setup, as you can see, just to make things a little bit easier. Let's get some music going. What's that?
Hey, Tommy Tran, how you doing?
Hopefully it's not too so just a little bit of a warning, and that is that I cannot present your name if you do any super chats or anything like that. It doesn't mean that I won't be super thankful, but yeah, so yeah,
we can both do the celebration on Nathan. We can both do.
We can do. Wait, let's practice a high five. If I high five you that way,
which way we doing? This way. Ready? 3, 2, 1. High five! High five!
We can try that for super chats. How about that? All right.
At least
so,
yeah.
Kazumi, thank you so much for being here. Bojo Pigeon, thanks so much for being here. And somebody in Australia, some of you guys always shock me that you basically so early watching me.
Early
Here
rises.
we go. Tommy, how you doing, Tommy? And although I don't know who on earth is going to be moderating the chat, is the only thing because Philippe is in Japan. Hopefully everything's okay. So
I'll try and do it on my phone at the same time. I'll try and moderate at the same time.
Hello, good morning, Ninja Monkey from Hiroshima. Stephen, awesome. Can't believe I have made it. The Sakura mobile is working well, but the office at Kicks was being rebuilt, so we had to follow a map to another floor at the airport. Well, I'm glad that you were able to make it. Anyway, so before I go any further, I actually want to introduce Japan Alan, and just give us a little bit of an overview of why are you here, JJ? Why are you here?
Hey everybody, it's me again, Alan from Japan. Most of you may remember me from previous Ninja Monkey streams, but for those who don't, I'm also a Japan content creator now. I can officially say that, Nathan. Please don't say I'm not. I create content for Facebook, Instagram, and Threads, which is daily Japanese content. There's generally one video and 2 photos every single day. And I also create long format videos on YouTube as well, which are walking around Japan videos. That's why I'm here.
So yeah, I mean, other than that, I think we're very lucky in this community to have so many people with so much experience, not just myself, not just Japan that has plenty experience, but so many people that basically are in the chat that can also help you answer. Don't forget, I think I try to keep it quite honest. If I don't know the answer to a question, I make it very clear, and to be honest, some of the questions that you guys ask me and ask us generally are impossible to answer. Like when people ask me, like, how do you get from this really specific remote?
Which train should I take tomorrow, Nathan?
Right,
Yeah, those are the best questions.
Hey, thank you so much. Let me just get to thank you so much, Jim Ross, for gifting five Ninja Monkey memberships, and let's do the high five.
Ready, 1, 2, 3, go! Hey! There you go. We do a fist bump. Whoa, boop. Well done, Jim. Okay. Thanks, Jim. Amazing. As per usual.
So, thank you so much. So let's get to any questions here. I'm just gonna try and make sure that I keep 2 tabs. This is a little bit different setup than what I'm used to. Yeah, awesome. It is awesome. Saika, very awesome that we have Japan, Ichiban, and me together.
Same.
Logos Japan is also here. Right, trying to get to Takayama. Takayama is pretty cool. Vigil is one of my favorite places, actually.
Oh, nice. Good morning.
Everyone's starting to pack and trying to remind myself I'm going to Osaka and not the jungles of Borneo. We were talking about that earlier, right? Overpacking. So I'm trying to get to questions, really. So if you do have any questions, let me know. Apparently, you're my clone, but with a beard.
With
Maybe
a
it's
beard.
because-
Is that what it is now? It must be the Hachimaki.
Yeah.
Only the best
5
photo line.
a.m. Japan time. What the heck? What are you doing up, dude?
Oh, Stephen. 5 a.m. It'd be interesting
So
to know what
any
Stephen's doing in
questions?
Hiroshima, wouldn't it? Is he going to Okonomimura? Is he going to see the Atomic Bomb Dome? What is Stephen up to? Quite interesting to know.
Steven is in Hiroshima, he said?
Let us know what you're doing, Stephen.
Well, hopefully, he's gonna eat some okonomiyaki.
Okonomiyaki. Okonomiyaki, yes. The best one's Hiroshima, isn't it? We don't need a vote, do we? There's no need for a vote, Nathan. Hiroshima
No.
style,
You know?
100%.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it always depends on my mood, you know. But anyway, talking about
Controversial.
Japan travel, we
Yep.
do have some questions. And the first one here is from Gazumi. Says, question, Nathan, just finished a summary of my upcoming solo trip for my wife. Maybe I'll post it on Discord. Which page? You're going to post it? Post it probably, I would say, in the Japan planning page. Maybe you can put it under your own itinerary. That would be pretty cool. So, yeah.
That sounds really good.
So in this stream, we're going to be answering your questions, and we're going to also be talking about our upcoming trip, which is happening very soon. But Jesse actually says, and you're the Facebook person, so I'll
defer
read
to me.
it and answer it, okay? Following up on the Facebook discussion, what has changed for the better and what has changed for the worse about Japan since your first visit? Go.
Wow. So what's changed for the better is my Japanese language skills. They're no longer completely non-existent. But I don't know. I think for me, I'm a more confident traveler in Japan. So that's a big thing for me. It's not a worry thinking I'll just get on the Shinkansen tomorrow. Things like the SmartX app, I've made that really useful. Integration with things like that is so much better than it used to be. Things that have probably got worse, just rowdy tourists. That's the thing I dislike the most about going to Japan. People who don't act in the way they should when they go to Japan. It's not a theme park for everybody. There are locals who should be respected as well. What about you, Nathan? What about you?
Me, I think a lot has changed, surprisingly, for the better. Some things for the better.
Yeah.
Some things maybe not for the better. For example, me personally, I think that that there's a lot more English signage compared to when I went the first time. I even remember traveling on some trains that were not fully in English, and now everything changes. Everything has English signage. So, by the way, if you talk, we'll still hear you if you want to jump in.
Yeah. Well, so maps. So maps are a big thing, aren't they? Google Maps are so good
Maps
nowadays.
has improved a lot, and generally, I think Japan was always very accessible and very easy to travel around, and I think that it's even more accessible and even easier to travel around now in the last since 2014, which was my first trip to Japan. Other than that, yes, there's 3 times more tourists going to Japan now probably than 2014, and they're all going to the same places, pretty more or less.
Let's go to Golden Gai, guys. I'll see you at Golden Gaijin tonight. I shall see you there with everybody else.
But generally, there are, generally, Japan hasn't changed so much in the sense that you're going to go to a country that feels completely different. It's just changed in a way. But I think that even if you look back to your own country, 2014, and now, something is bound to change in 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
Like you can't expect I think
Brexit.
people have this. What did you say?
Brexit. That's what I
Oh,
said.
Brexit.
Let's
Brexit.
not talk about that.
Exactly. But I'm just saying that I think a lot of people expect Japan to be paused in a sort of like in a like
A time
Japan
warp
was this
almost.
way, time warp. It's
Mm.
it's no tourists, like no English speaking, like very in a way alien. But as there's more exposure to tourists and more exposure to social media.
Your fault. I'm blaming this guy. Let's blame this guy, right?
As there's more social media exposure, countries change, not just Japan. Not just
That's very
Japan.
true. No, that's right. That's a really good point, Nathan. It's a good point.
But ultimately, like I said, a country, your own country, has changed in 10 years.
Yeah,
So,
but that's the problem with Japan, though, isn't it? There's a great dichotomy in Japan between the traditional side of stuff, which a lot of people yearn for, things like Torii gates and things of that nature, and then really modern things like Pokemon and
yeah,
brand new towers and Skytree and stuff. So people want both, and that you got to
yeah.
understand you can't have everything, I suppose, every single time.
And at the end of the day, Alan, I think that this is my honest opinion. When people ask like what's changed in Japan, I think that in the last 10 years, when I talk about any changes specifically, I'm referring to big cities. But if you go into rural areas, very little has changed. Very little has changed.
Well, even
So,
places like Kanazawa and stuff, it's like stepping back in time. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to going to Kurishiki this time, and I'm looking forward to like a very traditional side of Japan.
I mean, even from the first time that I went, since I started traveling to Japan, they've introduced, I think, 2 or maybe 3 new Shinkansen routes. One being to Nagasaki, and the other one being the Hokuriku
Hokuriku Shinkansen, yeah.
Shinkansen.
Yeah.
So even that has changed in the 10 years that I've been traveling to Japan.
Oh, yeah. And the Hokuriku,
even the one that was going to Hokkaido, the one that was going to Hakodate.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To Hakodate, that didn't exist until a few years ago either. So transportation is definitely so.
That's very difficult for a train nerd, by the way, because we try and get on every single Shinkansen. So I still need to find the Kamome line at some point, the Seagull line. So
Saika has a question, by the way. Don't forget to add Ninja Monkey or write question in bold. Saika, I'm going to read the question. I'm going to let Alan answer it. Traveling from Tokyo to Osaka to Nagoya back to Tokyo, do you think it's worth the Shinkansen, those legs, or fly? What would you say?
For me, 100% Shinkansen. 100%.
I agree.
Yeah.
Unless you find like a ridiculously cheap, like fare where it's so cheap that literally, like you're saving so much money that you're gonna be able to spend another 3 days in Osaka as a result. I don't think it's worth it, because first of all, Nagoya is pretty much in between Tokyo and Osaka. Mm-hmm. So that will be your midpoint.
Yeah,
it's on the way. So yeah, I would say that unless it's a very specific, very, very special price that you find flying, use a Shinkansen. Or obviously, if you're if you have a lot of time, you could even go local trains really cheaply, but who does that?
Yeah, I think you can go for as little as £20, Nathan. So like $25-$30, as long as you go on the small local trains. But the Shinkansen is about 14,000 yen from Tokyo to Osaka.
What about this one? Do taxis in Japan charge by person or just trip miles? Could it be not much more than taking a bus for a party of 5? Like in Kyoto, to go to the attraction, since buses seem crowded there.
Great point.
I mean, you go with a family.
And we have both sides now, don't we? We have both sides. So for me, obviously I travel with my family. So there's 4 of us in the taxi at one point. It's pretty much the same price for us to go in a taxi than it would be for 4 individual train tickets. If you include the additional time it would take you to get to the actual spot you wanted to go to. So taxis are always slightly more expensive, but they get you directly to the door. So it's much better if you're in a group of 4, I think, to take a taxi in places like Kyoto, of course. If it's Tokyo, maybe not.
Yeah, I would say that there's nothing wrong with giving one trial run always, because ultimately, if you're a family and you're in Kyoto and you're gonna, for example, get a bus or get a train or whatever to one of the tourist destinations, then you can compare. You're probably gonna take more than one taxi, so you can do one taxi ride, see how much it costs you, and then do one bus ride, see how much it costs you. The likelihood is that probably it'll be very, very similar, or the cost difference is going to be so little that it doesn't really going to make much of a difference. But I know, Alan, I know that some people are on very tight budgets. I know that some people,
Very true.
it's one of those things. I know that some people are on very tight budgets and they need to save as much money as they can, and maybe saving 200 or 300 yen
Is important. Yeah.
is important. So that's important to also state. Do you want to add anything else to this?
Yeah, just to quickly answer the question though, they don't seem to charge per person, by the way.
It's sorry, that was a question.
Yeah, sorry. So if there's one person or if there's 4 people, there may be a small surcharge initially, but it's negligible. So yeah, it's generally by miles. That's what I've noticed.
Yeah, and also there is a charge after a certain amount of time, a night. There's a night charge. There's a charge that additional cost if it's a night. So be aware of that.
Generally, when the train's closed, isn't it? That's what it is. The train shut down, so now taxis can make all the money. There is actually a taxi app that I use, Nathan. I don't know if you use it as well. Is it called Go? Taxi Go, something like that?
I use
Taxi Go. So that can tell you your fare though before you actually book the taxi. So that's maybe not a bad idea. You could say from my point here to wherever I'm going in the app. It's like a map that you choose your destination on.
Go.
Yeah, Go, and then that will tell you your fare as well before you
actually
order the taxi.
Surprisingly, I've been using a combination of Go and Uber in Japan.
Uber, yeah. I haven't used Uber yet, I must admit.
Yeah, Uber in Japan, in big cities like Tokyo and Kyoto and Osaka, they work very, very well. They actually work super well, very similar to any Uber anywhere else. In places where it's a little bit more remote, you're gonna want to use Go, which has more taxis. Right, let's see.
Great question though.
Because this chat is pretty cool. The system that we're using is pretty cool, but I lose the question.
Also, Grant Berman has asked for the Discord info, so I'll just put that in the chat, Grant.
Okay, yeah, thank you. You should still be able to do the commands, by the way.
Oh, I'm doing them on my phone. Sorry.
You're good.
I'll do the next one in there.
So the question: best first meal when you land in Japan?
Oh,
you can answer this because I'm gonna say it very quickly. I'm literally gonna say that for me personally, it's whatever I can get in an izakaya. I just want to get into the nitty gritty Japan. Okay, yeah. Your turn.
So for me, I suppose I cheat a little bit. I normally get something from a convenience store. So I find it really difficult to walk past a convenience store. I think I have some kind of illness. So I just convenience store itis or something. We'll need to think of that. Konbini 19. And basically, if there's a convenience store near where I'm going to stay, I'll dive in there and pick up some, just some really fresh, quick microwavable food or something along those lines, because it's 500 yen and fantastic food. So
what's yours? Tell us in the chat.
I really like the from the convenience store. There's quite a few. There's a really nice potato gratin that I like from Family Mart. But the katsu curries are really nice, the microwavable katsu curries. And the fact that they heat them up for you as well. You can go straight to your room. You can be eating it in a minute. So fantastic convenient food. And it's like 500 yen. So
you know what? I am so boring. When it comes to konbini, I love going into konbini and checking things out and that kind of thing. But when it comes to going to konbini in Japan, usually I get something for breakfast, or I usually have some emergency rations sort of like in my bag. But once I find something that I buy and I like, I just keep on buying the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah. Well, I try to, when I'm in Japan, I try to store my current culinary inhibitions type of thing. I'll try and think of something new if I can, and if I like it, I'll continue. and if I don't, I'll see if the kids want it, that type of thing. So yeah.
I'm just reading if there's any questions here. We've got another question. Holly says, I'm going to Nagasaki for 2 nights, Fukuoka for 7 nights in February. Is it worth it to go to Beppu and Yufuin together for a day trip? Or should I stay overnight in Beppu? Any other suggestions? Well, I've just done that. So I think I'm going to answer that question.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been to Nagasaki, and I think Nagasaki is an amazing city. It's a beautiful city, actually. It feels very European. It's got trams and it's got cathedrals, and it's got quite a Roman Catholic sort of like. It's one of the cities in Japan that was strangely Roman Catholic. So that is quite unique. And I was going to say, if you're in Nagasaki, one of my favorite onsens is Onsen Onsen in Nagasaki. Check it out if you can. As for Fukuoka, 7 days in February, I think it's definitely worth staying overnight in Beppu. I think that Beppu has a fantastic assortment. It all depends if you like onsen, obviously, but it has an amazing assortment of onsen, including what I've never seen a Michelin-starred onsen, but they actually have a Michelin-starred onsen, the only one in the world, the only one in Japan. So I would recommend staying overnight in Beppu, to be honest, and not doing Beppu and Yufuin together for a day trip.
Mm-hmm. So I always wanted to visit those 7 hells, whatever it's called, Nathan, in Beppu. I saw it on your video. It looks absolutely fantastic. So the different types of
yeah. I have to say that that Beppu blew me away. Because I like content so much, and I like the whole hells and the whole like steaminess, and I think it's something to do with not having it here at home. So it feels like very, like wow. But now that I've done it, I want to go back differently, because I met some travelers there, some French people that were lovely. The only 2 travelers I met in pretty much the whole leg of my Kyushu trip. I didn't bump into any other foreigners apart from them, pretty much. And they got the night ferry from Beppu to Osaka.
Yeah, I've seen those ferries.
And I've seen it, and they send me some photos.
Yeah.
And now I am obsessed, Alan. I am seriously. I have never been so obsessed to do something in Japan. It's gonna happen. Not in my short trips, but it's going to happen. I am going to go on that night ferry. Seriously. I need to get back to Beppu, and I need to get on that night ferry. Right.
That's fantastic.
That one's for you. Oh, we've already done this one, really.
No, that's how Japan has changed us, though. Not how has Japan changed for us. How has Japan changed us as a person?
Oh, how has it changed each of us?
Yeah, sure.
Go for it. You can.
What a question. Massively, I suppose that's the thing. I mean, to be honest, I've been interested in Japan since I've been a really young boy. As we discussed many times on here before, so it's always been a part of my life since I was really young. I think 7 or 8, when my father first went on that trip. Yeah. So it's always been a part of me. But I think in terms of just like some things that I've noticed is with my language learning, things like that, I think I've come a long way with learning Japanese, and it's helped me learn other things as well. So just the ability to learn and store things has come on quite a lot with me, with my need to try and be proficient somehow in Japanese. So yeah, I think that's a big thing for me.
I mean, for me personally, I try to speak a little bit of Japanese here and there, but I cannot. I mentioned this in the other stream. I just cannot study Japanese and run a YouTube channel and have a full-time job at the same time. I just cannot. So I love it. I think it's a very fun language. I think it's a very cool language. And when I am traveling in Japan, I make sure that I use as much of it as I can personally. How did it change me? I think I've always been quite a patient person because I'm a teacher, and therefore you have to be patient. And maybe you can see that through the screen.
Yeah.
I think a lot of my traits come as a result of my job, but I also think that traveling in Japan as a solo traveler has made me incredibly confident in myself and my abilities of being able to problem solve and get myself out of tricky situations. And I think that those skills that I've gained through traveling on my own in Japan and other parts of the world are transferable to daily life here, because when something happens here at home and you sort of like panic, I kind of think, wait a minute, I've been in worse situations in Japan, or I've been in a situation where I've been in the other side of the world with no support network and I've survived. So that's probably my biggest change for me.
I remember your story from your last trip about you had an issue with your contact lens, didn't you?
Yeah, and you know what?
That yourself. Yeah.
Super stressful. And I'm not gonna lie. Like, that was really worrying, and it was very stressful. Having to go to see, first of all, trying to figure out to see an optician. I went to two different opticians, and they said I had to go to a what do you call it, an eye doctor.
Yeah, optometrist or something.
Optometrist, that's it. So and then it was a public holiday also at the same time. Luckily, I was able to go to one, and they treated me really well. But those challenges happen. I've had to go to hospital before in Japan because I had a really bad ear infection. It happens. You deal with it. You learn. You move on. And unfortunately, it did affect my trip for the next 3 days. I had planned to rent a car. I wasn't able to, but you just sort of adapt. I would say.
Yeah.
Oh, this is really cool. As a visually impaired traveler, the Japanese have treated me with the utmost kindness and respect. They make sure I get where I need to go. They even walk me to my hotels. I love Japan. That is amazing.
If I just have a counter question there for AirVigil, I know the big places like Tokyo, etc., are set up for visually impaired people with those yellow Tenji blocks. The yellow blocks on the streets. I don't know if AirVigil finds those useful as a foreign visually impaired person. I'm presuming, obviously, you're not Japanese, so is that something that's of use for all visually impaired people, or is it not? They're called Kiroi no Tenji blocks. That's what it says on the train thing. Stand behind the yellow lines, everything.
I've read hotel reviews that said that people would charge extra per person. This is true, but I'm going to explain it. Okay. Do they charge per person for hotel rooms, or just for more than 2 people? Well, first of all, when it comes to hotel rooms, it depends on the hotel. And from my experience, I book on my own.
Yeah.
And sometimes I look and I book for an additional person, and the difference is very, very, very minor. So it's pretty much for the room. But
so I had the same issue as this as well, by the way, if you want me to add to this.
Yeah, go for it.
So we stayed in a hotel earlier on this year in February, and I had mistakenly booked it just for one, and I was traveling with my wife. So when we got there, they said, "Oh, there's 2 of you. No problem. We'll amend the booking." But it was, as you said, an additional cost. I think it's because we had breakfast included as well, but still, it was an additional cost, and it's something that we hadn't thought about at the time.
It can be. It depends. Sometimes the cost is so marginal, it's nothing. But what I was going to say is that also there are some hidden costs that people are a little bit surprised by in Japan. That is that there is a depending on where you're staying, there is a hotel tax that you pay. Sometimes you have to pay when you check in at the hotel. That might not be included when you, like, for example, with Expedia or Booking.com. That might catch you off by surprise. But it's not. It's like, like 100 yen a night or something. And then if you're staying in an onsen area with hot spring, there might be an additional hot spring charge tax on top of that, which could be like another 100 yen or whatever. So just be aware that sometimes there are hidden costs, but actually I've always checked, and even Booking.com and Expedia or whatever, or even Klook that I've been using recently, they say, that there might be additional costs, but usually it's very minimal. and it's not the conning tourists or anything like that. It's they charge everyone, even
Yeah.
Japanese people, you know. So
Mhm.
let's see. Feng, how are you doing? I heard Japan will introduce tourist price and Japan price. Is it happening? Um, I think we'll talk about it when it happens, if it happens, because there's a lot of debate. The yen is yo-yoing,
Yo-yoing.
yo
Going up and down. That's
going up
it.
and down. And at the moment, everything is based on the fact that the yen is weak. But what happens when the yen, you know, sort of stabilizes? Like
Oh,
things will be
100%, yeah.
way too expensive for tourists.
Yeah, I remember in 2016. Oh, just for comparison's sake, at the moment today, the yen is about 195 to the pound. In 2016, when we went, it was 130. So that's it's 2/3 of the price. So if you were buying then and you wanted, I don't know, £200 worth of yen, you would need to spend £300 for the same amount, if that makes sense. So it's quite a big difference. So you're completely right, Nathan. And they're also talking about this Esther thing, the Jester as well is coming up,
Yeah,
isn't it?
that's a good idea. I think.
Agreed.
I think in the at the end of the day, the jester, and I see that Jim Ross has a question, which we'll get to in a minute. But I think the jester, which is like the Japanese Esther like entry thing, I think the good thing about it is that it should, in theory, speed up any potential problems that could slow you down.
Mhm.
Because the idea is that you have to get pre-acceptance before you board the plane. And at the
Yep.
moment, you get acceptance when you arrive. And then if you're not accepted, if, for example, if the aeroplane if you don't have a visa to enter the country, and for whatever reason, the flight, you go through the net and you're allowed to board the flight, which can happen.
Yep.
When you arrive in Japan, they'll say, hey, you're not allowed to be in this country, and they'll send you back to your country.
Mhm.
So with the jester, what will basically happen is that it will get rid of all that problem, because they won't be able to board the flights
Yeah.
at all.
Pre-authorized.
You
Mhm.
know, so it should speed things up. It means that like those problematic people won't be in front of you in the queue, like in like believe it or not, it's those little people that basically end up slowing everything down.
Yeah, of course.
I think.
Everybody who's not done Visit Japan Web, come on, guys, get it done. You got to get it done.
I haven't done mine yet.
I've done mine. I've done mine. I've done 4 of them in the last week.
All
So
right. But let's check. Let's check what Jim Ross says. Jim Ross, before my next trip, I'm going to update my cell. Yes. Other than the usual apps, maps, and translate, are there any apps I should consider installing for Tokyo and or Japan as a whole? Yeah, I'm
yes.
gonna say one. Oh, let's do something. I'll say one. You say one. I say
Okay.
one. You say one. Okay.
Yeah.
Because then people comment. You don't let your guests talk.
He's always
You
talking
can't
over me. This is terrible.
I'm going to say Yurikuru Call, which is the earthquake.
Oh, I was going to say Yurikuri Curl. Great app.
Yurikuru
Yep, fantastic app.
Call, which is the earthquake app. Basically, you have it installed. You have to pay for an annual for a year or whatever it is, but it's peanuts basically. I believe it was the free version. I can't remember. What would you recommend?
I would say the Taxi Go app that we've already mentioned. So Taxi Go app is super useful. It's basically like Uber, but it's got 1,000 taxis on there, always waiting, and I've used it several times. It's absolutely fantastic. So
I would also suggest that you download Line, because if you do encounter or meet people, the likelihood is that they're not going to have WhatsApp, and they're going to probably want to line you or Instagram you. But Line is a great way to go. I made a whole video about this, by the way. Like maybe I should update that video. It's been over a year, but I did make a whole video about it. Anything else that you would suggest?
making sure you've got a phone that does eSIM. So some eSIMs have apps that come with them as well, don't they? So eSIM will be a big thing, Jim. I'm using one this time around as well. So make sure you've got your eSIM app downloaded if there is one that comes with it.
Yeah, I would also suggest that you get things that are specific to you, and this is generally. For example, if you're a vegetarian, there are apps that help you find vegetarian options in Japan, or websites that at least help you find vegetarian stuff in Japan. If you're a photographer, you might want to get some special. I have an app that shows me when it's where the sun's position is going to be, like it predicts
Golden
the
hour
sun's
tracker.
position, like that sort of thing. So yeah, I think you've got all your bases covered, and you can check out my video, which is basically all about the different apps that you can get.
One good thing to mention is, even though you have Google Translate installed on your phone, also make sure you download the language pack as well. You can separately download Japanese as a language pack, and then it'll work offline no matter where you are in Japan. So
Let's see what apps I
Super
want to
useful.
check what apps. I've got a new phone, by the way. I got it yesterday, so I need to check what apps I have, because everything seems to be switched around. But
you can recall
oh
that, by
yeah,
the way.
I would also suggest that you get the app that for your airline. That's quite a useful one to have. Airline.
Maybe a Suica or a Pasmo app as well, Nathan, depending on what
If,
phone you get. So,
well, you see, the funny thing with the Suica app is if you've got an iPhone, you don't need the Suica app, because you basically set it up directly from the wallet. But the Suica app is very good if you want to really do advanced stuff. For example, if you want to link your digital Suica with the Smart EX, because you need the Suica number, you'd have to go into the Suica app that will give you the Suica number.
That's how you can see your. That's how you can see your card reference, even though it's a virtual card.
Little secret.
I'm too nervous to do that. By the way, I just tap my Suica and put my card in and walk through. So I normally scan the QR code. Actually, that's what I do. I tap my
Hey,
Suica
we've
and
got
scan
a super chat. Where's the super chat? I've just seen a super chat here.
Super chat.
Banana fans, thank you, because I've actually run out of Tokyo bananas. I was telling Alan earlier that I've actually run out of all of my Japanese snacks. So that's arigato gozaimasu. We're gonna do a high five for.
Well, this way again, ready and go.
And we also have another one there. Sawada Recovery Foundation finds funds for him having to see two guys wearing headbands.
This is all for you, Tawada, wherever you are. This is
Tawada, we are trolling you. We're trolling you. We are trolling you. Tawada always makes a funny comment about. Right. Sorry if I miss any questions, but I'm going back a little bit. I see that there's some questions here. And we'll try to speed things up with the questions, because I can see that now there's a lot of activity going on. Bill, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. When applying for a Yunyu Kakunin show and a copy of the prescription, does the doctor's note or explanation also need to be translated into Japanese? I'm going to be totally honest. I don't know the answer to that question. My guess is probably yes. But I suggest that you look this up with the official information online.
I'll paste the link into the chat for him to look at.
Yeah, please. Or email them. They're actually pretty good at answering emails. These people, my friends, when they came to Japan, they had some questions about their medications that they were taking, and it took them less than 48 hours to respond with what to do. So it was pretty good.
Yeah.
By the way, Tawada, I haven't ignored you. I know that you've been saying things, but I'm trying to get to questions. Okay, just letting you know. I want everybody to feel included.
I have ignored you, Tawada, by the way.
Question: I need to buy 2 Shinkansen tickets from Tokyo to Kyoto on Saturday morning. Can I buy it on the day, or should I buy it on the Smart EX? My sister does not have a Suica card. You can buy it on the Smart EX, and you just get a QR code that you scan. You don't have to link your IC card to your ticket. Basically, My suggestion, what would your suggestion be here?
No,
Alan?
you're exactly right, Nathan. So I would just pre-book on the SmartEX website itself. Get the QR code. You can book for more than one person as well if you like to. That's up to you. Get the QR code and basically have that on your phone. And as you get to the gate, you need to tap out of whatever thing you came in on. So which is usually, out of the train network. You tap on the thing and then you do your scan, and then you just go straight through. Super easy, very convenient. Me and my wife do it all the time. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
SmartEX all the way.
Yeah, I think. And as for the question of should you buy it before, I think I should record myself and just say what I always say, which is basically, look, if you know when you're going to be traveling, then why not book it in advance? It's just like a no-brainer. If you know that you said you're going to be going on a Saturday in the morning, so you might as well book it because you know that you're going to basically.
There's a good point there, Nathan. Actually, when you book those tickets, until you confirm them, they're not actually classed as like a paid ticket. So you can actually still change them on the day if you got delayed or something else for no additional cost.
But you can change it anyway. As in you're right. As in what I'm saying, you're right. That you can buy the ticket and change the ticket whenever you want.
So if you get there early, you get there late. Well, if you know you're going to be late, you can always amend that on the app as well. But I only ever book the first one, and then I book the next few days after.
Thank you for the super chat, Grant. Another great stream, but I mainly do need to see another awkward high five.
We can do this all day, Grant. We can do this all day. Ready? Are you going to count us down? Right. Are we doing two hands? Two hands.
Yeah. Wait a minute. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 3, 2, 1.
You didn't move.
3.
Right. Let's just count in Japanese. Come on.
3, 2, 1, go.
There you go. That was all right. That was okay.
Okay. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Thanks, Grant. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Kind of funny there. Let's see. I'm going up to see if any more questions. When applying for, we've done this one already.
Yeah. Connor's mentioned about Hamamatsucho. Nathan, you've stayed in Hamamatsucho, haven't you? Oh, sorry, you've got a question.
Yeah, we have a question. If you have a question, you can. Can you choose a question also? Can you?
I don't think I can click them. No, I can't click them.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Question: can you pay Shinkansen trip from Tokyo to Osaka with IC card, or do you need to buy tickets? It's mandatory. Look, this is very simple. You cannot use. You can pay for your Shinkansen trip with an IC card, but you cannot use an IC card. Let me break it down.
You still
it's
get the
confusing. It's easy. Basically, you need a paper ticket, and I'm not gonna go into SmartEX or anything like that. Okay. You need a paper ticket for the Shinkansen. You can buy the paper ticket using an IC card. That's it. That's basically the quickest way.
But it's not the right thing to do. Let's just put it out there. By the way, if you limit on IC cards at 20,000 yen, those tickets are 14,000 on their own. So what's the point? Yeah. 2
IC cards. I will arrive in Haneda by 7:11. You know that AY with a little weird sign on top.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I thought that it was a little bit of dust on my screen, and I was trying to rub it off. What's the best way to go to Shinjuku Kabukicho? Because my hotel is booking there. What do you think?
Best way. What does best mean for you? That's the question. The cheapest, the most convenient, the quickest. What does best mean?
If you had to choose, I'm going to leave this one to you. If you had to choose one.
Because it's 8 p.m. It's quite late. I will try and get the next. The next is really quick into Shinjuku Station itself. You can walk out of Shinjuku. Oh, sorry. Oh my God. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. I thought it was Narita. My bad. So from Haneda, then very very good, Nathan. I'd probably just catch a limousine bus. In all fairness, because it goes straight to Shinjuku Kabukicho anyway. For me, it's the easiest thing to do. What would you do?
Me. Because I travel so much to Japan, I literally go for the one that I look on Google Maps, or I look on my schedule, and I literally go on the first thing that I can get on. So, for example, if if the monorail is arriving first, then I go on the monorail and I change on onto the Yamanote line or whatever to get to Shinjuku.
Yep.
Or if I see that there's a limousine bus available that's gonna arrive at more or less the same time as the monorail, then I'll get that. But I don't prefer one method over another. To be honest,
No.
I just go for the one that I hate waiting. Basically, is what I'm saying. I'd rather be on a monorail for an extra 20 minutes than wait 20 minutes for a bus. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't have a preference either, in all fairness, but I do think traveling with cases, the limousine bus is very easy. That's the main, and it has Wi-Fi, so
Yeah,
maybe
and
not,
your
maybe not a bad
family
idea.
is different, like.
Yeah, well, there's a few of us, so yeah, it's
I
easier
mean,
as
there's
well.
another thing that you can also consider is you can actually luggage forward your cases to your hotel from the airport, which is something that is it's available for you to do. For those of you who arrive very very early in the morning, and maybe you don't want to leave your luggage in your hotel because you just don't want to go to your hotel, you want to maybe do some sightseeing or stay awake before, then you can forward your luggage to your hotel, do your sightseeing, and your luggage will be there in the hotel waiting for you. So
Yeah, not a bad idea as well.
should I stay in Kyoto 4 nights and just have a day trip to Hiroshima, or should I just stay 3 days and 1 day in Hiroshima? What would you do? What would you do? I know what I would do. It would be interesting to see what you would do.
I think I know what you're going to say as well, so I'm going to say the opposite. I think
No,
Kyoto
no, no.
has.
You say what you think.
Yeah, what I think is, I think you can do a lot of the main things in Hiroshima in one day. So for me, if you're just doing the main attractions or whatever you want to call it, the main sites in Hiroshima, you could day trip from Kyoto or Osaka at least quite easily. And I love Kyoto so much, so I'd much rather be wandering around Kyoto for a few days.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say that because you have a total of only 4 days, then I would suggest that you use Kyoto as your base, and that you are selective of what you want to do in Hiroshima, and have it well planned out. Leaving early in the morning, you could even on the return potentially even stop at Himeji Castle, depending on your trip. But just because you only have allocated 4 days, then definitely Hiroshima has a day trip, and potentially Miyajima, for example, as part of the day trip. But as the only part of the day trip, because you wouldn't have any other time for anything else. To be honest, if you had more time, then I would be giving you different advice. I would be saying, like, yeah, stay a night in Hiroshima, But for 4 days, not worth it.
Sounds good to me.
I think it's pretty much what you've said, right?
Yeah, we agreed. Wow.
I mean, we agree quite often. We do. Sometimes I'm writing things and then I notice that you said the same thing as me. So,
very true.
Any questions? I'm going down slowly. My family is here in Tokyo now, and we cannot find a place to buy a Suica or passport card for my child or others in our group. Do you know where we can purchase one besides the airport? Yes, 100%. My suggestion is that you go to the best one that I found, surprisingly, and I think I bought a Suica card at every single location that you can buy a Suica card, like main station. And initially, I used to say Ueno because Ueno is really easy to find the JR East office, but I actually found that Tokyo Station, being the one that was the emptiest, surprisingly.
The one in Tokyo Station is really easy to get to as well. It's basically as you walk in from outside, isn't it? It's just in that first dome.
Basically, it's in the what exit is that though? Yorukucho exit.
Yeah, it's the north exit.
So I can't remember what exit it is, but basically it's the exit with the red building exit, Yeah. And there you'll be able to basically, I'm just going to tell you, you can go to, I'm going to tell you some of the main stations: Tokyo Station, Ueno Station, Shinjuku Station. Those are top 3 stations that you're probably going to be traveling around or easily access. And as long as you go to a JR East Travel Center, That's
Yeah.
where you'll be able to get your child's speaker card, and that's where you'll
Mhm.
be able to get your own personal speaker card. As for my last trip, I mean, things can change. My understanding is that the system is still in place for Suica, and I'm sure that they'll be able to point you in the right direction if anything has changed. But I don't think anything has changed in that regard. My recommendation, however, is for the child Suica and for your adult Suica is two separate lines. The child Suica actually is done via the normal manned
Yeah,
booths.
the teller booth. Yeah.
Yeah. But the adult Suica is done via the JR East thing. So basically you need to split up. Don't waste time queuing up and then queuing up. Just get half of your party to do the children's one and half the party to do the adult one. So you just don't queue up twice.
Mm.
Hey viewers, hit the like
Excellent.
button, please. Let's see.
So A Vigils replied about those blocks. I'm glad they're useful as well.
Hey Michaela.
Oh, hello.
Was this Michaela? Hi everyone sat in the background watching the stream. I hope everyone is okay and well. Over 40 people watching. Don't forget to like the people, please. I'm sure it will make Ninja Monkey and JJI very happy. Michaela, if you scream, we might hear you.
No screams yet. She's not screaming.
Let's see. By the way, for those of you who have been following me for a while and know that I look after a cat, unfortunately, my cat isn't doing very well, and so it's part of the reason why I got JGI on here, because I was a little bit upset and I needed a little bit of like moral support to get through the stream. She's 18. She's 18.
Wow.
But it's animals are like family.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Okay. Any more questions?
There's so much chat.
Yeah, found one restaurant that used a QR code and it linked to Line. Is this common? Yes. Some restaurants even have special offers.
Mm-hmm.
Next one's for you.
My husband has a gluten allergy. Is it difficult to eat at restaurants? He's hesitant to go to Japan because of that. I've been going to Japan solo and would love him to join me. Well, how nice for starters that you want your husband to join you. That's fantastic. I'm not too sure about this, Nathan, actually. I'm quite boring. I have no allergies. I'm like the indestructible man, I'm afraid. I can eat anything.
Oh, I'm not going to tell you because I'm.
It's not bananas. We know it's not talking about bananas, so it must be something else. But yeah, I know you can get like cards and things made which say what your allergies are, which are always quite useful to present in a restaurant to say no fish, no etc., no this, no that. So that may be an avenue to explore for your husband. What do you think, Nathan?
Yeah, I'm going to give you maybe 2 or 3 different options that they could potentially be pricey, but this is an example of where potentially going as part of a planned group tour will be very handy, because there will be a Japanese speaking guide with you at all times. I think I'm a firm believer that you can travel Japan on your own, but I'm also a firm believer that there are times when actually going as part of a group tour can be useful. This is one of them. If you're unsure, it's probably better for you to have your husband with you, on a tour and having a tour guide, even though it might be more pricey. The second thing is, potentially just joining a food tour as part of your trip, as one of your first activities, and get advice from the food tour. Because if you're gonna go on a special food tour, sort of like one night eating extravaganza, they will be able to point you. You can ask them the questions. And the third one is to do your research in advance and have a list of potentially not fast food, but chain restaurants that have suitable allergens, like for example, cocoa curry, etc., 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 so that you have somewhere to fall back. Those would be my recommendations, to be honest. And the same would go for people who are vegetarian, vegan, halal, etc.
Yeah, I think soy sauce is gluten, isn't it, as well? So that's going to be difficult to avoid
I
in
don't
Japan.
know, man.
Yeah, soy sauce is really difficult to avoid. It's like dashi, it's just everywhere.
Guys, I'm sorry if I don't get to your things. There's loads of questions, which is great, obviously. If your iPhone speaker is not scanning because you accidentally forgot to scan it or whatever at the gate yesterday, just go to the ticket gate. It's exactly the same as a normal speaker, basically. Sometimes something happens and you go out the wrong place or whatever. You just need to go, and they will rectify it for you.
Yeah, basically at every ticket gate, there's a little window with a man in it. You can just hand it to him and say it's not working.
Yeah, talking about a meetup, I have a meetup scheduled. Are you going to be coming? Only one nights?
Oh, is that the 28th?
28th. There's definitely there is an official meetup. There might be an unofficial meetup. If that makes any sense.
An unofficial official meetup.
Yeah. As in I might be able to squeeze in another one or something depending on the time, the day. Saying Kyoto, do you this one's for you.
Do you think
this one's 100% for you.
And so do you think a day trip from Kyoto to Nara Park for deer and then to Osaka to see Dotonbori is doable? How late is the last train back from Kyoto to Osaka? So let's answer that in a few different sections. So a day trip to Nara to see the deer park is incredibly doable, and I would absolutely recommend it. Go to Todaiji Temple Complex and look at try and go up the hill as well. It's absolutely fantastic. I would 100% recommend going there. Buy some crackers, feed the deer, have fun. Be careful, they get quite nippy though. That's the problem. Best thing to do is have one cracker in your hand. The others are hidden away somewhere. We have like a pouch you put them in. One cracker in your hand, give it to the deer, and then show your empty hands, and then the deer will generally leave you alone. So 100% go to Nara. Then Osaka to see Dotonbori. Again, that's doable, definitely. And Dotonbori is best at night time, in my opinion, as well. You get the Blade Runner lights and everything else. All the food things are open really late. There's plenty of people going on. Plenty of things going on and plenty of things to see. Last train back from Osaka to Kyoto is probably quite late, but I don't know. You'd have to research that yourself. Do you know, Nathan? I presume you don't know the last train, but
well, first of all, I think all of your advice is absolutely spot on. Like, I would not change a thing. I would actually say that if you want to do Dotonbori and you want to do Nara on one day, then definitely Nara in the morning and Dotonbori Osaka in the evening, because that's when I think is best to experience Dotonbori. I'm not going to change everything that you said. I give you a big thumbs up there. Perfect.
Nice.
Takayama, favorite to get a big juicy steak? Oof, I wouldn't be able to answer that. I've been to Takayama twice, and I wouldn't know exactly where, sorry. However, what I can tell you about Takayama is that I had one of the best burgers I've ever had in my life in a place called Century Burgers. You do need to make a reservation though. I think it's a Hida beef burger place. Hey Bill, how you doing? Would it be good to get business cards from your hotel and write down your booked dates and then put a card in the front of your wallet, backpack, or luggage tag in case you lose them?
Do you mean lose them on the way on the flight or something? You mean
So no, like in general, no.
Oh, whilst you're in Japan, you mean? Lose it?
Yeah, I'm guessing. I'm guessing. Yeah.
I mean, it can't hurt, but
it doesn't hurt. Yeah. I don't think it will help much. I mean, it could help. The problem is that I think some Japanese might not be able to read in English. Well, I guess it would be, I don't know.
And if you lose something in public transport, you should hand it into the stations, and then they have a whole system for that who do speak English as well.
I mean,
So
I don't think it's something that you need to worry too much about, but you could do it for sure.
I have these type things, by the way, like luggage tags that I clip onto stuff. And
Yeah,
these have got my these have my
I mean those are
information.
the equivalent, basically. Yeah. What
Yeah.
I usually have is I usually have my email address in my luggage tags
Yeah, so I do. I have my phone number, email address, and then my name on it.
because phone number they're not going to be able to contact me in Japan, really. So,
Email address is key. Yeah, 100%.
question: We'll be staying in Asakusa from the 30th of December. Wow, until the 3rd of January. This will be our time to buy souvenirs. Do you think shops will be open on the 1st or the 2nd of January? No, I maybe. Okay, I found from my experience traveling to Japan during the New Year's period that basically between the first, the second, and the third, a lot of things are smaller stores are closed, big stores remain open. But I also have discovered that the closer you get to a temple, the more things that are open
Yeah,
because a lot of people are traveling to their temples to do their annual
New
fortunes,
Year's. Yeah.
New Year's fortunes. So maybe things will be open, but I would try to do if you're gonna be arriving on the 30th of December. I would try to do it ASAP rather than doing it on the 1st or the 2nd of January. If I were you. Question: In your experience, what is the most generally Japanese experience most people completely miss? Oof. What do you think?
Oh, that's a really good question, actually. I think it's a very good question. Genuinely Japanese experience. Something I've been interested in for quite a while is people making washi paper. I don't know if you've seen that, Nathan, yourself, but that's something I'd always like to try. But is it the thing people? Is it something that is like a must do?
You
Probably
know,
not. Is that what we mean? Must dos. I think there's so much Japan to offer, though. It's what do you want from Japan most of the time, isn't it? Are you interested in swords? Are you interested in tea ceremonies? Are you interested in crazy paper and stuff? What do you actually want? So
there's so
it's a difficult
many
question to answer. There's a
experiences
million
out
experiences,
there.
yeah. Yeah, there's
Uh,
sand dunes in Totori. You can go on those little like wooden boats where they do the
okay,
screw thing in the front
I
of it.
think I have the
Okay.
answer to that, and it's
Is it on?
one that actually people miss, and it's true, and that is a lot of people go to Japan and do not do onsen.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I would say that a lot of people are shy, a lot of people are scared, and a lot of people just tend to miss out on going to hot springs in Japan, and most people miss a very very Japanese culturally Japanese experience, and that will be
Mm.
onsen. To be
Onsen's a
honest,
national pastime, isn't it, as well? So it's very culturally significant for the Japanese people, onsen, and it's
now,
all
yeah,
across Japan as well. So yeah,
yeah,
even in Tokyo, by the way, guys, don't forget.
yeah,
I
yeah.
went to my first onsen in 2015 in Tokyo, believe it or not. So in Toshimayan, if you know it, which is where Harry Potter World is now. But yeah, it was an old theme park back then that was falling apart. So
Other than that, I would say that a really good experience that you can have, usually very local, is doing some kind of a cooking class, a Japanese cooking class, because you'll learn skills that you can then bring home to make your
yeah,
own Japanese dish at home.
you can make that gyoza at home.
Oh my god, those are yummy. I'm gonna be there. I have a meetup in 28th of this month. This month.
This month.
What would you suggest to do during Golden Week when you're based in Osaka that whole week? I put a whole video. I'm just gonna say Mark G. I put a whole video together about that, about traveling and what to do during Golden Week. So you could check that. I'm just trying to get through lots of questions, and I know that there's a lot, and if there's a video that answers that, you can just watch the video, I think. But whilst I look for something, I found. I have a dietary requirement where I'm not able to eat any sort of pork. Most ramen places have a pork-based broth, do you have any recommendations for places that I could go to? I think I'm going to answer it the same as before. Unfortunately, I don't specifically have any recommendations, and God forbid I get anything wrong for people with allergies or people with specific and dietary needs, which is part of the reason why I don't give recommendations. But do your research. I mean, you're in a good place to start.
You might want to point out there as well. There's quite a lot of there's quite a strong Muslim community now in Japan, especially in the larger cities, which are obviously pork is obviously haram in those cultures. So maybe search for halal ramen and things like that. That would also hopefully fit your dietary needs. Also, so there's a big halal movement going on in Japan at this moment in time. So always have a search. As Nathan said, Google's your best thing, and there's lots of reviews on TripAdvisor for almost any restaurants in Japan.
Well, like I said, I mean, I've said this many times. If you have a very, very, very specific dietary requirement, put yourself down for some kind of a food tour, and ask them questions. They'll be able to point you all over the place. The difference between 300 and 700, 300, 500, 700, as far as amenities and service, I think the difference will be food, mostly. When it comes to a ryokan,
location, I think, as well. Maybe
location, view, probably view. Might make a big difference. The size of the room, how recently it's been renovated. I found that to be a factor, also in Japan. So yeah. Food tour would be fantastic. I agree. That's why I said
100% thing. Yeah, you'd have to get on a train though, Feng. You'd have to get out of Shinjuku and go somewhere else.
Hey, from Switzerland, nice. I love Swiss people. I love Swiss cheese. I love Swiss chocolate.
And you're going to Switzerland, aren't you, Nathan? Isn't your flight there or something? Didn't you say?
I am. That is my flight. Zurich.
Nice.
Would be fantastic to meet Apple Ninja Monkey in Japan. It's happening. It's happening. So yeah, Stacy, you need to go to the JR East Travel Center. You probably went to just a normal ticket office by the sounds of what you're saying there.
Yeah, so if you can go back to the actual ticket office, they can do that at the side of the gate. But if not, look for the JR East Travel Centers or the Midori no Madoguchis, whatever they're called. That's the right
This
thing.
is for you, from Eric, for you.
Yeah, so is minding your manners the easiest way to not make locals uncomfortable? Do most people with common decency and respect overthink it when visiting Japan? Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you're exactly right. You're spot on. So just as long as you're, a nice, civil individual, you're not overly loud, you respect people's customs, you'll get on perfectly fine in Japan. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen with everybody, but if that's who you are, you'll fit in really well.
I'm just putting things at any recommendations. I won't read them out, but I'm just
nice.
I go along. I'm just putting some recommendations.
Feng is asked above, which is the best city for food tour. Best is a subjective term.
Osaka's pretty good, and you know what? Little bit of Japan does a food tour.
Yeah, so Lito's in Kyoto was very good as well. We had some nice food with Lito in Kyoto. Hit him up, guys. Tell him we sent you.
Just to add, you can Google gluten-free restaurants in Japan, and it will bring up a list. What, Michaela? You should be on this live stream. What the heck are you doing?
You're so helpful in this house. This is the most helpful house ever.
Amazing.
Thanks, honey.
That's pretty good. By the way, Michaela is Alan's wife, and she's in the other room, back there, not here, over there.
I'll just grab her for the stream. There we go. There she is.
That's Michaela. Does look a little bit like Michaela.
Don't say that. Don't say that in front of me, Nathan.
Hey, Agent Pew Pew. You know what? This whole tattoo thing about onsens, to be honest, I don't think it's a big issue. because you can do your research and you can find plenty of onsens that allow tattoos. So I think a lot of people are put off by onsen because they have tattoos, and I think that rightly, look, you've got tattoos, rightly so. It can be a little bit off-putting to go somewhere and be told that you can't, use the facilities. But if you just have tattoos, you just have to do a little bit of research and enjoy the pretty cool experience with tattoos. Don't be put off,
Yeah, quite often, an onsen that has like a ryokan that may have an onsen with it has private places anyway. So it would only be you or you and your partner in the same place. So it's fine.
Tarian says that Shinjuku has its own smell.
Well, I mean, Kabukicho has its own smell. I'm not so sure about Shinjuku on its own, but yeah.
Oh, too bad. Just reading. Do we think flying from Kansai to Kansai from Haneda to get to Kyoto or take it in Shinkansen? I would say, I'm just going to answer this one very quickly. You're already at the airport, so you've already got like an advantage.
Yeah,
basically.
You're an hour ahead of everybody else.
If you do find that there is a flight that's close to your landing flight, then I would say fly because you're so close. And if you were gonna go from Haneda to Kyoto, it would, I don't know, probably take you about 4 hours or so.
Yeah, and you also need to factor in things like you'll have to transfer probably from one
Right.
terminal to another, so that's additional time as well. So it would be really close that in time, I think, Nathan. If you're flying or getting the train, it would be very similar.
Daingo, are you in Japan? Are you in Japan now, by the way?
I think he is in Japan, isn't it? Lord McGray said that about private onsen. Thanks, Mario. Spot on.
Hold on. There must be a way that I can allow you to choose.
Me looking at the mirror at all my tattoos.
I wanted to see if there was any way for you to be able to
select comments.
Select comments, but
it's fine though. You're doing a great job. It's fine.
Maybe that's one for a future stream. We can mess about with that. If you go to Switzerland, don't stay too long in Zurich and make sure you visit. Yeah, unfortunately, it's just a layover. Unfortunately, I have like 4 hours layover. It's longer than normal, but I am happy with that amount of time because I stress out a lot when I have a very short layover. Tutus. Did he say tutus? Tutus?
Tattoos? Do you have the tattoos?
Kinosaki is friendly. Even Dogo Onsen is friendly in Matsushima. That smell might be me, says Daingo. The smell of Shinjuku.
100%. The tutus.
Fly to Itami? How close is that?
The other airport. Well, it's not on an island in the sea, which is already a good start, isn't it?
Okay, I think we've got to the bottom of the chat. Awesome.
Nice. We've done well there, Nathan.
Yeah, so if you have any more questions, I don't know how much longer. Are you okay for 15 minutes?
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
For about 15 minutes
with me.
And we'll see how it goes.
With the chat.
Yeah. Well, with just a 4-hour layover, I wouldn't leave the airport. Exactly. I'm not going to leave the airport. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to layovers, the last 2 flights I've had have been 1.5 hour layovers or 2 hour layovers, and they've been delayed, and it's been really, really, really stressful. And it just hasn't been a very enjoyable start to my trip. So I've been trying recently to go for trips with at least 3 hours layover, so that if there is, like, for example, an hour and a half delay, that I should in theory be able to, make it. But this flight that I have, Alan, is really good because I leave at 6:30 in the morning from Spain.
Yeah.
and I fly into Zurich, and then I leave. I think 6:30. I don't know, like at 1 p.m. from Zurich,
Mhm.
and I arrive at 9 a.m. on the following day in Tokyo.
To be honest, arriving early morning is fantastic in Tokyo. Most hotels don't let you in till like 3 or 4 p.m. So you have some time to make it into your local destination, dump your bags, have a nice lunch, or spend a bit of time there, then get straight to your hotel or your Airbnb. It's absolutely fantastic. It's a great time to land.
Yeah, I mean, I usually head to the hotel and leave my stuff there. I don't know, maybe this time round I'll ask Oriental Pearl if I can leave my stuff at hers, or whatever, or Mariko or whatever. Mariko is actually offered if I want to leave stuff there in the future, I can have like my own little space in her house.
A monkey corner, is that, is that what you
Yeah,
said?
like for example, I have a jacket that I don't wear here because it's too warm. I only use it in Japan, right? So it's a kind of that kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I because I come from quite a cold part of the UK. I said in
You're
February
saying,
that I'll be okay. I don't need a jacket. I'll be perfectly fine. And then I bought one the first day when I was there because it was quite cool. Michaela was right.
hey, Meedable, nice to see you. Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing?
Hey, we do well.
Capsule Hotel, okay for multiple nights. Like again, look,
You have to check out. So, that's the problem. Never know.
my
Tell you.
problem with capsule hotels is not that I have a problem with it, but I think that it all comes down to your budget, your needs, what you want out of a trip. And I think that a lot of the time when you start looking into the difference between a capsule hotel and a business hotel, paying just that little bit more will give you your own privacy, will give you your own bathroom, give you your own toilet, etc. So is it worth it for multiple days? I mean, I've actually only done the capsule hotel sort of once, and it wasn't really a proper capsule hotel. But I can't envision it being the most comfortable experience for a very long trip.
Yeah, and some of them look like they don't have charging stations and things as well. So it's a tough sell for me.
We'll land Friday at 9 a.m., but we have to switch the airport because we fly over to Tottori later in the afternoon. Nice. Tottori is really nice. It's a pretty cool part of Japan. That whole part is called, like, that area is called Shugoku. Did you know this? Shugoku?
No, I didn't know this. No, sorry.
Yeah, so
Is
it's
that where
called
the sand
Shugoku.
dunes are? Yeah.
Yeah, well, that sort of stretch of coast, sort of in Japan, is called Shugoku, and I love it. It's I think might be up on par with Tohoku.
Oh wow.
Shugoku. It's a really nice area, and nobody goes. And if you look at if you watch
At least travelled. Yeah, I watched it on your thing. Yeah.
my 47 prefectures, it's like all of those places are like in the bottom 47. My mum might need a wheelchair. How do you think that would work getting around the city and getting to attractions? Worried about crowds and trains. What do you think, Alan? I mean, I have my thoughts here, but I want you to chime in. Any thoughts?
There's a lot of walking around that happens in Japan. There's a lot of getting around that happens in Japan. There's a lot of vertical up and down in places as well. But every station seems to have a lift or an elevator, depending on whereabouts you're from in the world.
Not all of them.
So I think, well, it feels like that though. It feels like a lot of other places do. But yeah, I'm not sure. I think it will have difficulties doing that, if I'm honest. So it will come with its challenges. But again, there are people.
There is actually a website. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there is an actual wheelchair accessibility Japan station website. I don't know what it's called, but I would say Makua. I would say that, like everything, I've seen people with wheelchairs in Tokyo, in Japan, they get on fine. So if they get on fine, then you'll be fine. Obviously, you'll encounter some challenges, but you'll be able to overcome them, I'm sure. It's not, when you have a wheelchair or you have something that's slightly different, visually impaired, or even going on with children that are very little, you will encounter some issues, but you will find a way to overcome them, and that's part of the adventure of travel. So I wouldn't say don't go to Japan just because your mum has a wheelchair. I'd just say you're going to go to Japan with your mum in a wheelchair, but you might have to do things slightly different, and you might have to navigate that sort of terrain and figure out how to do things, and then tell us how to do it.
Yeah, that's the best thing. Tell us afterwards. That's all we need to know.
Whale is on the menu. Yuck.
So I was offered whale once in an izakaya, and I turned it down. But I always kind of slightly regretted it, to be honest. It was whale bacon, is what it said on the menu.
Whale bacon.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Well, Dying Goal says it's delicious. Have I ever been to Spalaqua in Tokyo Dome City? Curious about the onsen experience there. I haven't, but I don't even know what you're talking about. Have you ever heard about that before?
No, I haven't heard that before. No. There is a large like outdoor onsen facility in Tokyo, but I don't think that's it. That's somewhere else.
Yeah, but what I was going to mention is that I've been to many sentos, and I've been to a very big sento in Osaka, and this sounds like it's going to be very similar to that. And you know what? I think that when you go to a really good sento, a big sento, it's usually a great experience. I loved my sento experience.
Plus Tokyo Dome, super easy to get to. So it looks quite nice. I'm looking at it now. Looks pretty cool. It looks similar to the one that I went to in Toshimaen.
Smash the like button, please. Jim is telling you to smash it. You should smash it.
Thanks, Jim.
Oh, the dialect is called Chugoku dialect. Interesting. I didn't even know there was a dialect. Hey Carmen, how you doing? I hope that you're doing well and you're all having a great evening. We'll be going to Hiroshima from Kyoto and stay one night. Do you think it is possible to go to Okunoshima Island and do the Peace Park Museum in one day, going back the next day to Kyoto? I'm going to say that any sort of island involves a lot of time.
Is that Rabbit Island at Okunoshima?
I think no. Is it?
I think that's Rabbit Island as well. So it's not actually. It's a bit of a trip from Hiroshima, isn't it, as well?
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you flat out, no. The answer is no, because my friends did it on this trip this summer. It took them a lot longer to get to Rabbit Island than they expected to begin with. There was limited times in the ferries. The train and the ferries didn't align, so it meant that they arrived and they had to wait like an hour for the ferry, that sort of thing. So you're going to have to really, if there was even any remote way of doing that, you'd have to really, really, really plan your day. I do know that the Peace Park Museum is open quite late into the evening. 7:30 p.m. I believe is when it closes, and I do know that it opens at 7:30 in the morning. If you buy your tickets in advance. So sorry I can't help you there, but I'd probably say it's going to be a little.
You have helped, Nathan. I don't think you've just not given them the answer that they probably wanted, but it's the truthful answer, so it's the right thing to do. Plus, enjoy, spend your time in Hiroshima. It's a beautiful city. Take your time.
Meetable, you're an awesome person. Size doesn't matter. 50% have only liked the stream. Damn it! I'm not. I need to do 50% more effort.
Hold on, I'll get us an extra like. Michaela, press like on the TV. You should be watching it in the other room.
Have I been to the Warhammer shop in Japan? Actually, yes, I have, and I'm going to tell you something. My cousin Eric has a Warhammer YouTube channel called. I'm going to put it here for you. So. Well, I've just typed the name. You can search for it. But SN Battle Reports is my cousin's Warhammer channel, Stephen, and he forced me to go to the Warhammer shop once to ask a question. So yes,
mean-
I have.
So just from my perspective, Eric, I've been a lifelong fan of Warhammer since I was really young.
Really?
So, oh yeah, absolutely. I had
Have you watched-
Warhammer in the early 90s. So yeah.
Have you watched my cousin's channel?
Yeah, I already follow SM Battle Reports. I already follow it. So the Warhammer shop in Japan, I've been to a few. The one I remember most was in Akihabara, which is like down the far end of Akihabara, like where you start almost. It's a fantastic shop. Please go in. Japan is the land of like miniatures and things like that. There's things like Gundam miniatures and all of the bits and bobs. So when they've applied those skills to Warhammer, they've also done fantastically well with them. Incredibly knowledgeable English-speaking staff. Go have a good time and literally ogle all the kits that they've put together. It's fantastic. So
I mean, they didn't know, like when I went to the Warhammer store in London, and my cousin had pre-ordered something
Mhm.
from Games Workshop, and I happened to be in London. And he said, "Can you pick it up from?"
From the
And I
store,
said,
yeah.
"I'm here to pick something up for my cousin Stephen from SM Battle Reports." I thought the shop was gonna like faint. You
All
know,
right.
Stephen. You know, Stephen. I'm like, serious.
Yeah, we know who he is. Yeah.
All right. Question: How many days? We're getting to the end of the stream, by the way. So, any important questions? Now is your chance. Any super chats? That's your chance. How many days do you recommend in Kyushu and Hokkaido? Considering I don't have an international license, that's a big factor. If you don't have an international license, well, first of all, you don't have to do the whole of freaking Kyushu on one trip. You know, and you don't have to do the whole of Hokkaido in one trip. So definitely a minimum of a week if you could, but you could do it in 4 days also. You know, you just wouldn't be able to do all of it, really.
It depends where you want to go, doesn't it, as well? How much time do you want to spend in individual places? Are you doing Fukuoka, Nagasaki, Kumamoto? You know, are you bothering with Beppu and Miyazaki like Nathan's done this year? It depends how much you want to do. in those places.
I spent about, I think it was 8 days in only 3 prefectures.
There you go.
You know,
Plus the Kamome Shinkansen's there as well, isn't it? So that's what you need to really go for.
hey Mark, you follow his channel, awesome. You can next time you can say hello from Nathan, from his cousin. Actually, I was in his house on Friday evening because they have the most adorable baby, my cousin and his wife. Very, very cute, very, very hands-on, like toddler. You know, like he's one and a bit, and he's like wants to touch everything. So much fun.
It's a good age.
Hey, Jennifer French, how are you doing? Thank you so much for the super chat. Genki, we need to do the
This way. Ready? Oh, ready? Oh, ready? 3, 2, 1, go!
I am Genki. I am sort of Genki. I was mentioning that my cat isn't doing very well, so it's a little bit of a bummer. I'm not gonna lie. My cat isn't doing well. I don't know what's gonna happen there, but I am Genki. And we're gonna end the stream very, very, very soon. Change it to blue. I haven't been doing it, but I'll change it. But it is blue, isn't it? Blue already, or is that not blue? And you know what? I might not be able to because I've got a new phone.
It looks blue.
Let's see.
Hold on, I've got a color changing light. Hold on, I'll grab mine.
Blue. I mean, I thought it was blue already, but now it's blue. Now it's definitely blue.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, what's that? See, Rose, that's me quick.
Now it's blue, right? Now it's blue. Is that blue enough?
Yeah.
Is that blue enough?
That looks blue. That looks very blue. See, Rose, just quickly, I'll answer that question. I'm a Blood Angels guy through and through. Always have been, always will be.
Yeah, I'm a bit upset. I'm not gonna lie, a bit upset, you know. But hey, she's 18, you know. Also, it's not green. It's blue now. Please tell me it's blue. scramble hi-fi. The hi-fi thing is so difficult.
I thought we did okay. Remember when we did the real one in real life, and we still missed in real life.
By the way, anybody who's watching, please watch my my theme park guide, because it is not doing very well. It's a sponsored one, and I've got a feeling that my sponsor is not going to ever want to work with me again. It's my worst performing video, I think, ever. So
I'll try and find the link now. And I'll pop it into here.
me Japan in 2 weeks for 70 days. Also very cool.
See each other in Halloween in Shibuya. Nice, mate. Are you getting dressed up, mate? Have you chose your costume already?
Missing high fives is fun. It can be. Thanks
There's
to watching.
To latest video.
I love me those awkward city high fives. One more and in gold color. Okay, gold color. Let me try gold color.
Mine's like rotating. It'll be the color. It'll be that color at some point.
Gold color. And are you ready?
Oh, go on, ready, and go.
Hey, that wasn't too bad.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad. One of those must have hit. One of those must have hit.
Actually, me Dibble, I'm going to tell you something about Japanese theme parks. And, you know, I've got like a semi-vlog that I just haven't finished editing. But my friends that travel with me to the theme park, they are big people. They're not tiny people. They're big people. And in Universal Studios, they couldn't fit into one of the rides because they test you. Like they have like a special seat outside of the ride for you to sit down to test to see if you fit into the ride, right? In Universal Studios and in Disney, and they couldn't fit. So as a way to say sorry, they gave them a another fast pass, which had a list of attractions that they wouldn't be able to fit in anyway. So I used it.
You stole the fast pass, did?
Yes, basically. So pro tip: if you want to travel to Universal Studios, travel with big people, and exploit the fast passes.
Yeah, or if you see a tall person in the queue, just any Dutch people in the queue, you know, anyone who's really tall, just say, "Can I please pretend I'm with you, please, and steal your fast pass?"
How can you help on top of liking? You can, I don't know, depends.
Very nice, Eric. Thanks for asking, Eric. Liking's good. You can share Nathan's content as well. That's always good.
Yeah,
Nathan has YouTube, Instagram, etc. Don't you, Nathan? Plenty of places we have, and Nathan also has a Patreon chat. He has a Patreon chat where
there's Discord, sorts of things. Thank you. Member.
He also has a second channel where he does live streams whilst he's in Japan.
I do have a second channel which I forget about. That second channel becomes alive when I'm in Japan, basically.
Yeah.
First solo trip, cool. Anna, you're gonna have so much fun. Obviously, you always have to be safe, you know, and look out for yourself. Thanks. Thank you so much for watching. And I think.
Hold on, just a small question then.
If this has been asked before, but do you think it's necessary to book Shinkansen tickets beforehand to travel from Tokyo to Kyoto? I think I'm just going to quickly answer it, and that is, if you know your specific dates, then you might as well get your Shinkansen tickets beforehand. If you don't know your dates, then if it's not a weekend or a public holiday, you should be fine.
Yeah, spot on.
Do they allow you to book one-way flights to Japan? For example, flying into Haneda, but flying out of Kansai back home. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah, so I did that earlier on this year. Yeah, they're normally called open jaw flights, those where you fly into one place and out of another. Yeah. I flew into Tokyo, out of Kansai, as you've said. So yeah, out of Kicks.
Depending on your passport and your visa status for entering the country, you must have a return proving that you're going to be leaving Japan if you're a tourist. So
Mhm.
I've heard of people that have flown in without a return and they've been denied entry from specific countries, though. From specific countries.
I must admit, I've never been asked for my outward flight, but when I fill in the Visit Japan website, it asks me what is my expected length of stay in Japan. So they must presume at that point that I'm going to be leaving in 14 days or whatever I choose.
I saw J-pop group Atarashi Gakko perform a couple of nights ago in Chicago. Cool.
Nice.
And I'm going to finish the stream here, I think, Alan, with a very cool statement from me, Dibble. I think that we can all accept truth. And the problem with going to Japan is you will want to go back the moment you leave. Very, very, very true.
Incredibly true. That's very, very true. Yeah.
It's
spot on, me.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to finish there. But I'm just going to say a big thank you to those of you who have supported us, and that is Jim Ross. Thanks for the gift of membership earlier on. Before, thank you so much to Frog Lady earlier on for the banana fans. Super chat from Lord McGray. So thank you so much to Grant also, to Jennifer, and to Lord Mark Gray
again. Yeah, thanks very much
again.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very awesome. So, yeah, I don't even know what that AutoStar Super Chats. What does that even do?
No, one thing to mention. Somebody was asking before about another way to help support you. There are channel memberships as well out there on YouTube.
Yeah,
where you get access to priority question answers from Nathan, and also you get some additional fun emojis. Somebody spam a cool emoji, guys, before we leave. Put a cool,
spam
a cool Nathan emoji.
If you're a member, spam
emoji. Yeah. Oh, Psycha's just donated as well. Psycha's just donated. So you got a donation from Psycha. Really? Thanks, Psycha.
Oh, Psycha, thank you so much. Can't wait to see you all at the meetup. Yeah, I'm thinking about where I'm going to do the meetup. I don't know how many people are interested right now. I do need to probably sometime next week or the week after, like a few days before, maybe a week before. I'm just going to confirm who is going to be coming. Do you know how many people are listed for the meetup? Yeah.
I don't. Sorry, no. You'll have to check that on Discord.
I think there was 9 people last time.
Nathan, just while you're doing that, Eric V has asked, would you prefer Patreon membership or YouTube membership from him?
I think whatever you want. I just appreciate that you want to support me, because there's different price tiers, and Patreon has a different price tier that can be more expensive. That would be supporting more, or YouTube is cheaper, so it depends.
I'm a top tier Patreon member. Look at my card I got from Nathan earlier on this year. Very nice.
Well, that was your moderator card.
Oh well, it was a nice card either way. So yeah. Hey, before we go, can I show you something before we go? Don't worry, it's nothing bad.
Yeah, you get that. I want to find the event page.
I wanted to show this on the stream because we're all Japan fans, aren't we? Look at this drawing my daughter did the other day. Can you see this? I don't know if you can see that or not.
What? Your daughter did that?
Yeah, my youngest daughter did this. This is, as you probably know, this is Saitama from One Punch Man. What a fantastic drawing that is! Isn't it really good?
That is very, very. You should frame that.
Well, I have it hung up on the side of my desk. I just hung it up here for now. Isn't that fantastic? That
is pretty
do well. Yeah, absolutely. If you like One Punch Man, you'll know exactly who that guy is. The caped baldy himself. But yeah, all in pencil as well. Fantastic.
Zip Air safe. I mean, I've not heard anything too bad about it. Just that they're a cheap carrier.
I've heard nothing but good news about Zip Air, and they're part of Japan Airlines. So let's be honest, Jennifer, they're probably great. It's very much no frills, but I believe you can buy lots of extras. So yeah, no problems with Zip Air at all. The only problem I have with Zip Air is they
Do
don't
you do
fly.
any YouTube chats on your own?
Oh, so you see me, I'm a Facebook content creator predominantly. My YouTube is for long format walking Japan videos.
Yeah.
So generally
Go
not, but I will do them on
Facebook. Guys, go on. I mean, support Japan Ichiban by just searching for Japan Ichiban on Facebook and
You
following.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just
He's
about
got
to do
a really cool
150,000 now, Nathan. Just there about 150k, 149, something like that. But I will do live streams on my Facebook while I'm there, so don't worry about that.
Yeah. That's exactly it. You know. So, anyway, thank you so much for your help tonight, and like giving me a little, hooking me up a little bit because I was a little bit.
No problem, dude. I enjoy being on these. Don't get me wrong. So
it was fun, and actually, I'm quite happy with this little setup with this.
This has been great.
The system we're using.
Been
to
really,
be honest,
really
it's probably the way forward for guests. So yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm gonna leave you there. I'm just gonna close the stream, and yeah. So thank you so much, Japan.
Thanks, everyone.
So thank you so much, everyone, for watching and supporting. I feel the love, I feel the support, and obviously for Japan Ichiban, who's given us some awesome answers. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there, and I'll see you in the next live stream. Check out my content, check out my socials, check out my latest short, check out my theme park video, and check out the Discord if you're interested in meeting me in real life in my meetup in Tokyo. On that note, stay positive and be a happy gaijin. Till next time. Bye.